Hi everyone and welcome to the Learning Curve. This video represents a continuation of my special series on SBAC math preparations for middle school students in grade 8. In this question we are told that we have a system of simultaneous equations here. So what are the solutions of x and y for the system of equations that we have here? The system of equations I'm going to write here are x plus y equal 10. So this is a system of simultaneous equations. We call a system, we use that terminology, system of simultaneous equations, when we are solving more than one equations together. So this is a system of simultaneous equations, x plus y equals 10, and x take away y equal 4. Now, one easy way to do this problem is to look at it and recognize that there are different signs for y in both equations. So I have a plus y in the first equation, which I'm going to call equation 1. And additionally, I have a minus y in the second equation. Now, if I take 1 minus 1, I get 0. Any number minus itself will give me 0. So I'm going to use a process of elimination and substitution to solve this problem. To do this, what I'm going to do, recognizing that I have one unknown with different signs, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go right ahead and I'm going to add the equations. I'm going to add equation 1 to equation 2. So when I add equation 1 to equation 2, I'm going to add each term in the first equation to the corresponding term in the equation below. So when I add x plus x, firstly, I'm going to get 2x. Then when I take y plus negative y, this would be the same as y minus y, which would basically just give me 0. Any quantity minus itself is going to be 0. And then on the right side of the equation here, 10 plus 4 is going to be 14. So again, x plus x gives me 2x. Y plus minus y is going to be 0. And 10 plus 4 gives me 14. What I'm doing here is that I'm using a process of elimination. So by adding both equations here, I was able to eliminate the y, because the y's have different signs in both equations. So in effect, by adding both equations, I get y minus y, which is 0. And now I have eliminated y because I now have 2x plus 0, which is equal to 14. Anything added to 0 gives you back that same thing. So 2x plus 0 is going to be 2x. So I now have 2x is equal to 14. Since 2x is equal to 14, this is really saying what number multiplied by 2 will give us 14. And we know that number is going to be 7. But formally, how we would find it is to say 2x divided by 2. We're dividing by 2 because the inverse of multiplication by 2 is to divide by 2. Because x is multiplied by 2, we do the inverse of multiplication by 2, which is to divide by 2. And what we do to one side of the equation, we'll do to the other side. So on the left side of the equation, 2 will divide into itself once, leaving us with x on the left side of the equation. And 14 divided by 2 is going to be 7. So we know that x is 7. The solution for x is 7. And therefore, what we're going to do now is to find the value of y. We can find the value of y by substituting the value that we have found for x into any of the two equations and therefore solve for y. So therefore, I'm going to substitute x into equation 1. I could substitute it into equation 1 or 2. When I substitute x into equation 1, which is x plus y equals 10. That's equation 1. All right, so that's equation 1. So when I substitute x into equation 1, I'm going to get 7 plus y equal 10. All right, so 7 plus y equal 10. So what we're now going to do is to solve for y. To solve for y, we recognize that 7 is added to y. There's a positive 7 here added to y. So we just subtract 7 from both sides by inverse operation. So the inverse of adding 7 would be to minus 7 from both sides of the equation. So that will show up as 10 take away 7 on the right side of the equation. So that means that y would be equal to 3. So my solution here is this: x equals 7 and y equals 3. So that's B. In the next question, we are told that the graph of a line passes through 2 points, negative 2, 5, and 1, negative 4. What is the slope of the line? So to find the slope of the line, which is m, the slope is also the rate of change. To find the slope of the line, which is m, we say m equals y2 minus y1 all divided by x2 minus x1. So this is how we find the slope of a straight line. So one very important task that we need to do is to label the coordinates that we're given. So we label one pair of coordinates as x1, y1, and we label the other pair as x2, y2. Now it doesn't matter which pair you label as ones and which pair you label as twos, just be consistent. So now we're going to substitute. You'll get the same answer either way. Now we're going to substitute. y2 is negative 4. That's what we assigned it as. So it's going to be negative 4. Take away y1, which is 5 here, all divided by x2, which is 1. Take away x1, which is negative 2. I use my parentheses here to separate the signs. So negative 4 take away 5 is going to be negative 9. And 1 take away negative 2 becomes 1 plus 2 because of the negative times negative here. A negative multiplied by a negative is positive. So in effect, this becomes 1 plus 2, which is 3. So I get negative 9 divided by 3, which is negative 3. And so that's my answer, is C. And that represents the slope or gradient or rate of change of any straight line, or of this straight line that passes through these two coordinates. All right, that's it for this installment. Thank you for tuning in as we continue our special series on SBAC math preparations. In the next installment, I'm going to be starting by looking at this question, question 17. A farmer can harvest 3,150 pounds of potatoes in 7 hours. If the farmer maintains a constant rate, what is the unit rate of the harvest in pounds per hour? All right, try and attempt this question ahead of the next installment in this special series on SBAC math preparations for middle school students. Thank you for tuning in. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. See you soon.